Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys having an amazing day so far. Today is Wednesday, August 28th. It is 6:50 on 6 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going live from Pennsylvania, United States. I know, some of you are from certain different parts of the states where time is not the same. All right, I've had guys following me from Seattle, Washington State, and I know we have 3 hours ahead of them. All right, so it's probably almost about to be 4 a.m. out there. But I do understand if they don't tune in, but feel free to watch this on the replay if you come across this live stream. All right, just because everybody is welcome to comment, to participate in these discussions, and everybody's opinion matter. So we are trying to, I am trying to build this community to where we could all feel comfortable sharing our experience, our expertise, and offer each other's tips on how to do things better, um, to help each other out, evolve. I mean, win and doing business in Africa. So in today's topic, I wanted to discuss some of the issues that most foreign investors find that most investors that keeps most investors away from doing business in Africa. And you guys know that most African countries have a lot of similarities. Our cultures, traditions are similar in many ways, and most people's mentality from different African countries are also similar, which then uh, makes me confident to conclude the issues that you're going to run into, for instance, in DRC, are probably going to be similar than those in, for instance, Tanzania or Cameroon or other places. All right, starting with like food we consume, starting with the way politicians think and the way business are conducted out there. What the hell is going on up there? Trying to get to work and these people just blocking the road? Are you kidding me? What the, bruh? I do apologize because it looked like they're doing some construction work, but they have the whole streets to do their thing. You can't just block the whole road. But anyways, I do apologize, you guys. Yeah. So with that being said, first of all, before we get started, do me a favor, hit the like button. And please let me know in the comment section where you're tuning in from, and I will really appreciate it. Again, I say this multiple times, and I guess I will have to repeat myself every time I go live. I gotta go live until you guys, until it clicks in. All right, guys, understand YouTube algorithm works against creators. So someone like me who owns a small YouTube channel, I depend upon my subscribers' support to be exposed to a broader audience. And also, if that happens, it's an amazing thing, right? Who does not want more subscribers? Who does not want more views? But in order for me to get there, those of you that are already tuning, who are already supportive of this YouTube channel, I rely more upon your support to get me exposed. And one of the ways you do that is by hitting the like button, subscribing, and commenting down below. And those things late YouTube algorithm know that people want to watch these videos, and therefore YouTube will feel compelled to send this video out to more people out there. Okay? So before I get started, just do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm waiting. I'm not in a rush. I really am not in a rush at all. And I think you are curious to hear what I gotta say too. So everybody is gonna get something out of this live stream. So why not hit the like button? Hey, what's up? What's up? Annette Watson. What's going on? What's going on? How you doing? Well, happy Wednesday to you all. Uh, guys, I got all day, all right? I'm just pulling up to I'm just pulling up to the garage. In order for me to get started, I just need you to hit that like button. It's just that simple. Hit the like button, hit the like button. You know? I mean, the longer it takes you guys to hit the like button, the longer it will also take me to start the live stream. Because guess what? I literally just found parking here, and I'm gonna be sitting here until it's time for me to clock in. So if you guys want me to keep going, you might have to hit that like button. Because I ain't out here begging for money. I'm not here trying to get you to donate to anything. I'm just here to have honest and serious conversation for things that most of us have in common. Doing business in Africa, you know, and things of that nature. But if you don't want to support this, it's cool, it's fine, but I got all day. I should have stopped at the Donkey Donut, get me some coffee so I can just sit up here and sip on it until I start seeing some likes going up. So we're just going to chill. And nobody, because like when I do this live streaming, I'm sorry, I have to be truthful about this. I don't oblige anybody to tune in. But when you do tune in, I do appreciate you. And I want you to be here. But we're not going to keep doing this if the supports is not going accordingly with your actions. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. And I've been saying this since I started this live stream. And if you don't hit the like button, I might just have to call it a day. And I'm here. I'm getting paid at my job. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube is not really the source of my income in any way, shape, or form. YouTube doesn't even pay me like that. So I got all day. Because if my income depending on YouTube, man, then I would have started. But I feel like the supports goes a long way, right? You're not doing others who's gonna watch this on the replay a favor, because I'm just gonna not delete this. I'm gonna keep this up, and they're gonna blame that on you. They're like, well, why y'all tuned in first, but why didn't you like the video to get the men started? I'm still sitting up here waiting. I got all day until it's time for me to go in, right? Then I might just clock in. I don't care. At the same time, I do care, because I want y'all to hear what I gotta say, and I want your opinion in the comment section as well. It shouldn't take me 8 minutes talking about the same thing in order for you guys to realize that, hey, we need to give this man some support over here, all right? Because I respect your time, and I believe your time is precious, and I believe you got way better things to do but just sitting up here hearing what I have to say. But there is a really good reason why you tuned in, because you are curious what I'm about to talk about, and I want you to hear this too. And I can't do this alone. I need your support. All right. So it looks like I got the 1 like. The 0 is gone. So now we can get this started. So let's hit it. I am going to share a few stories, or maybe I don't know what to call this, but things that have happened in Congo that disgust me, and you will probably hear and see what I'm talking about. And these are one of the major issues that most foreign investors come across when they are looking to invest in Africa. The first story is about when, you guys remember, if you're a story or you're a history nerd, you probably know that the former boxer, a professional boxer, Ali and Foreman, all right, Muhammad Ali, peace to his soul, they fought in the Democratic Republic of Congo in one of the stadiums out there. This was under Mobutu leadership, right? I believe this was like in back in 70s or something, but correct me if I'm wrong. Those of you that are watching, I could be wrong, but I am positive this was around like the 70s, right? So I wasn't even born there, but we hear the story because of those two personalities in sports, more specifically in boxing. That match actually brought a lot of people out, you know, and it became one of the famous stadiums in the Democratic Republic of Congo, more precisely in Kinshasa, and it is still today one of the famous stadiums because Muhammad Ali and Foreman fought there, of course, at the demand of President Mobutu, during his reign. So, fast forward years later, Will Smith, it played a role where he wanted, like, where he, played Muhammad Ali in that same movie. So they wanted to replicate that scenario. Those people who were, the contractor who wanted to shoot the movie, they reached out to the Congolese government because they wanted that boxing scene to take place in the very same stadium where the original, match occurred. They reached out to the local government. Things were moving along really well, and then they were just about to sign the contracts, right? But the governor of Kinshasa at the time, I remember it was Andre Kimbuta. Those of us from Congo, you guys know who I'm talking about. So this guy, in addition to fees and expenses that this contractor had already agreed to do, which included the rehabilitation of the stadium, they wanted to not only to shoot the movie there, but before shooting the movie, they were going to spend their own money out of their own pockets to rehabilitate the stadium, to build it to a much more modern standard before the movie took place, right? Which, by the way, was one of the best deal ever, because after the movie is shot, we still would have benefited from the renovation of the stadium, correct? But because of the greed that a lot of African politicians have, our governors back then, he wanted a cut in addition to everything that these contractors were already agreed to do, which included to spend way more money in rebuilding the stadium. So they see what they were asking them to do. They were like, really? Screw you. They left. Guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. Some of you may know this story better than I do, but I am certain I'm knowledgeable enough about this story to share with you, to give you an idea of what to expect from African, politicians. This is not to encourage or support their behavior or their way of doing things or the way they treat foreign investors, but it's just a way to raise awareness, just in the event you are considering to do something in the future, so you know what you're walking yourself into. They ended up packing their bags. The movie was not shot there. The movie was still shot in Africa. I believe it was shot in Guinea, either Guinea Conakry or Guinea-Bissau. I'm not so sure. Long story short, the movie ended up taking a place there. I mean, I don't know the terms of the agreements that they have signed with them. I would assume it was more acceptable than what they were getting from Congo. We basically lost a team who were going to invest in rehabilitating the stadium where Muhammad Ali and Foreman fought in, and actually benefit from that to allow some of the local games to also, be played there. So these people, they were like, yeah, you guys are nuts. You're walking away from this deal. Not only that, we're going to put money into rebuilding the stadium, and on the top of it, you want us to pay you money for what? Because we've already paid fees that the government had put. Understand one thing. When you go to Africa, there is a price. For instance, if you're going to do business there, you walk into the office, there is the price tag to do what you need, which is official. You're going to pay that fee. But in order for you to get things started, remember, within the administration, whether it is the director, whether it is the president, vice president, secretary, whatever, everybody would try the best they can to get the cut. That's how it works. Maybe in Guinea, where the movie was shot, they didn't have those requirements, or maybe their requirements were not as strict, or was not as ridiculous as the ones from Congo were. That's why they ended up shooting their movie there. But common sense would dictate that if the movie was shot in Guinea, then they came to an agreement which was much better deal than what they were getting from Congo, right? So now tell me, who's the loser in all this? One, they showed the willingness to shoot the movie in the same country and in the same stadium where it originally occurred. In addition to that, they were offering to rehabilitate the stadium, to build it to a much more modern standard, right, for the movie to take place. And what you pay them, you bombarded them with this ridiculous percentage for the governor, vice governor, and its whole cabinet, and all that kind of crazy stuff. And the construction company is just so ridiculous. Now guess what? Not only you lost the investments, but you also lost the opportunity that would have made the stadium even more famous. But that's one of the bigger example one of the bigger examples that I wanted you to learn and get an idea what foreign investors go through when they're doing business in Africa. It could be a good and bad thing both at the same time, the way that politicians or local practice businesses with outsiders. For someone born and raised in Africa, we know how to circumvent those things. In our culture, we have normalized these, let's call it for what it is, corruption. You understand what I'm saying? You pay the fee that is officially recognized. But in order for you to move ahead with the plan, you still have to have something put aside for the head of this project to give you a green light, or should I say, to make it easier for you to move forward with your plan. This has got a lot of issue. When someone from there may understand, but someone else who came, let's just say, from Western society would not wrap their heads around this whole situation. They will ask you, so why do I have to pay additional fee if I had already paid what is already officially published in a website? Well, buddy, that's not how things work in most African countries, unfortunately. All right, so I'm gonna tell you one quick story about myself. In 2000, My last trip back to Congo was in 2023. Before that, it was 2021. I landed in Congo. I forgot my yellow fever card, right? Back in the States. I had one, but I forgot it at home, right? I get to the airport, so now I had to pay before I cleared from the immigration. So I asked the guy. The guy pulled me into his office, which, by the way, wasn't his office. It was just an empty office that just happened to be there. So he dragged me into the office. He sat on the chair, closed, shut the door behind me, and just like reading me all of this rules and all of this. Like, he started going on, and I'm like, okay, stop. I already know where you're going with this. How much money do you want me to pay you? He's like, well, this is gonna cost you 80 bucks, because I'm like, bruh, trust me, 80 bucks, that ain't happening. I was like, all right, why don't you take me to the office where I will make the payment and get the yellow fever card, so when on my return, they don't have to bother me about all this. You know what he told me? No, they're not gonna be able to like do that for you right now. But I knew they could. But because I was tired, just got off the airplane, and I was not in the mood to argue with him, I ended up paying him 40 bucks. And trust me, I didn't get no receipts, right? And I walked out of the office with no official document showing that I had made that 40 bucks payments. So I already knew he was full of shit. So as I was walking out of the office, I told him, I'm like, I hope this 40 bucks makes you rich. But if it's just gonna bring you back to get somebody else, just like you got me, find something better to do. So I left, and goddamn right, on my way back to the United States, I had to spend it was like 20 bucks to buy a yellow fever card right then at the airport. So now I have two yellow cards that I fly around with. Every time I'm traveling to Africa, I always make sure I carry at least one yellow fever card with me, so they won't get me like that. So there are ways things work in Africa. It may not always be in favor of certain people that are not originally from Africa, but for Africans born and raised there, they know how the system works. They will be more accepting or more flexible and paying his bribes if it means to speed up the process. You can look at this more in a positive and in a negative way. That's why this saying goes, you feel much better at home, or there's no place better than home. I do agree with that. When you come from a culture, things are normal. Like, there are certain norms that don't bother you as it would if someone came from a different society. It would take them a long time to acknowledge and to understand why is it that people are doing extra when they've already met the requirements of whatever it is that was needed to get to a certain spot, right? Cultures are always going to be different. Doing business in around the world also depend on culture, right? On the way people think, and many other things. When you come into America, it's either what they'll tell you or nothing at all, period. It may work differently when it comes down to like higher political officials, but as ordinary individuals, there is no other way around, period. When you all planning on investing in Africa, you should be aware of that. When you see the opportunities are greater to walk away from, and that you want to comply with the way locals conduct business, that's one possibility, although you don't have to. But my advice to you, if you want to move forward with it and you just want to make peace with it and still invest your money into that, into the African business atmosphere, I would highly advise you to brush that under the rug, fall into line, and move on. Trust me, if you think you're gonna go in there and change the way things are done, you're making a big mistake, and you will see people come after you getting their license or getting their certificate, starting their business while you're still sitting there expecting that your application fee it is enough to get you the piece of paper that you need to give you permission to start whatever business you need. Is this acceptable? No. Is there something me or you as individuals to do to stop this? Probably not. But will there take some sort of courage from the government to reform and change things around? 100%. Will they do it though? That's another question that deserves an answer. The bureaucracy behind getting business license, starting a business in Africa, it is not as complicated as more people make it seem to be. It is more about paying bribes to get whatever you need faster. And this sort of mentality you tend to see in everyday's life too. For instance, you go to somewhere where there is a line, right? You're late for work or you're late, you needed to be somewhere. In order, it is enough for you to walk up to the security agent and slide a little $5 or $10 in their pockets and tell them what your situation is. Trust me, they're going to pass. They're going to um, convince their staff that you are their brother or their uncle, their nephew, and that you have an emergency, you need to get somewhere, so that they can just put you on the front line, get your service needed, and then get the hell up out of there. You know how I know? I've been there, done that. I've went to places where when I was back home, my mom sent me, and I had to say a line. You know, I used to sing in a choir, and I still do. Every time I fly to Congo, I go back to my choir. I, rehearse, and I still sing. Right? I love singing. Anyways, I'm like, man, I need to be at the rehearsal in the next hour, and I'm like 30 minutes away from my rehearsals area, right? And guess what I had to do? I had to split the transportation money that I had to share with the security agent so he can just put me on the front line. I did that. It put me on the front line, and I was able to get the services that I needed done for the day. I got whatever it is that my mom needed me to do, and I was right out of there. It makes me feel bad. I felt bad because there were people right ahead of me, but I got service before them. But you see, these sort of mindsets have been normalized in most African society. So when you're coming there, things like this, you should expect it. Expect it. But once you have passed all of these obstacles and you finally have your spot, you don't even have to worry about this any longer, right? Because these people, once they got their first share, they move on. That's it. They don't want to come back for more and more. That's those sort of extortion exists in like the criminal world where someone gives you access to something, now you owe them something in return. That's not the way it works in Africa. It's a one-time thing. You want to get this, you better pay me. Once you cut them that check, you get what you need to get, that's it. Then move on to the next guy, because that's how they do it. You know why? We could all argue that their salary isn't enough. That's why they engage themselves in these sort of practices. It's one argument. But on the other side, it's just like, all right, if they don't do that, how do you expect them to make ends meet? Because the salary they get is damn near enough. It's not damn near enough to support themselves or their family. You understand what I'm saying? But if you put yourself in their shoes, you'll probably see where they're coming from. But as much as I hate talking about this topic and making it seem like it is okay, there isn't really much we can do to end or fix the issue at all. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go back to like what is now happening in Congo to all my Congolese folks. We see the new justice minister, right? Constant Mutamba. He's doing his thing. This guy, in effort to combat corruption, there are fees now. They are collaborating with local banks to start making so that all the payments have to go through the bank where you have your receipts, and everything will just remain electronic. A lot of people are applauding, that he's doing this, and it's a good thing to do. But when you're doing things like this, you also have to take into account that people's salary will also need to be increased. Because one of the reasons why people's salary is still remaining the same is because once there's certain amount enter the treasury's pocket, right? The treasury's savings, people have direct access to it, and there is no way tracing it when it's coming in cash, and there is no track records that show everything or the revenue of every department. But if there is a way you can track every transaction, it'll make it easier to crack down on people who have normalized these things. But I would also say that doing so means you are ready to give people raise that they deserve, because if they're getting paid a reasonable amount of money and they are satisfied with their salary, these behavior left will leave their um body very quickly. You understand what I'm saying? It is something to encourage, but it shouldn't just stop there. They will take extra steps in making sure once they do this, there would not be other motive or other alternatives that they will try and find so that they can continue there's these malicious practices that are hurting civilian more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? In Congo or in most African countries, people are forced to pay these bribes, not because they want to, but because they are forced to. Then you may still get your service, but it's not going to be as quick as you would expect, right? You would think, oh, I went in there in this one, whatever department, I paid the dues, these are the paperwork that I got. But when it comes down to like starting your activities, it keeps getting delayed more and more and more until you get sick of it, and now you gotta pay somebody, and then they'll leave you the hell alone. This is just how the way things work. And keep in mind, most foreign investors are about that. Most foreign investors, they probably have already invested their money in societies where these things are not encouraged. But then when they come to Africa, they see this and they're like, nah, I'm walking away. Maybe my money is worth investing somewhere else. And no wonder why most African countries till today still struggling in building infrastructure, still struggling to get their things straight, because there is a lot of things within, there are a lot of things domestically that must be fixed to attract these investors. Security issues, infrastructures, and so forth. Guys, do you know how much money people will make in Congo, for instance, where I'm from, if electricity was reliable? Most energy run most businesses, man. You need that. But when it's not there, you're losing big time. For like people that are into like, let's just say like fishing industries, for instance, you need reliable electricities for your machines to work 24/7 to keep these products frozen. But if you are struggling with that, now you have to spend extra money to get generators that are capable of powering the industrial level of the products that you are serving to your clientele, right? And therefore it is cutting your profits probably by 20, 25, even 30%. Now you have to worry about other expenses. But if electricity was reliable, and you wouldn't need no generator to run your business, that right there will be a win-win. If roads were built that connected the whole country, where products that are available, for instance, in the eastern of Congo, that are not available in west of Congo, they could do business with one another, trading merchandises, without, you know, there being, pricing differences. I'll give you one quick example. Back in the day, now things have changed, but back in the day, potatoes is like grow in Goma or Eastern Congo very easily than it is in like the West, right? Now, back then, if you were consuming potatoes, you were pretty much seen as rich because they were coming all the way from Goma, and it gets there. Of course, they have to like put or the taxes that they paid to transport the merchandise from there up to the capital. Now people have to pay a premium price to consume something that's not originally from there. But if the roads existed and a trucking company could transport things back and forth and do business with one another, the price will go down. Now it has gone down, but it could go down even further. And there are like other products from Kinshasa that don't exist there, and once it's there, it's expensive as hell. I know because I know friends who live there, and they tell me all about this. And you can look it up on the internet. It's all over the place. It's everywhere. All right, you guys. Thank you guys again. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for taking the time to click on this video, and feel free to let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this live stream. Do you agree with me? Yes. Why? If you don't agree with me, no. Why? Let me know in the comment section down below so we can all have a productive debate in the comment section down below, because a lot of people would love to learn about what is going on in Africa and what they can do if they wanted to invest their money in Africa. You may help them with your comments. You may help them with any piece of information you may have that is valuable, so we can all share and go in there and do business together. All right, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. 2 more days before the weekend start. Fingers crossed. I know we're all gonna make it. I'll see you guys soon. Have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon.